only way out is down. Because this is Slashers, a horror movie podcast brought to you by not one, not two, but three goons on whatever night we decided to record this week.
Wednesday.
My name is... You son of a bitch, don't give away my trade secrets! My name is Jake, and with me, as always, is my esteemed colleague, co-host, and cohort, Brian. Brian, say hello to the mutant goons from beyond.
What's up, duders and dudettes?
And with us, skulking from behind the camera in his producer's chair, getting all the credits and all the money from our hard labor and the sweat of our brow, is Chad. Chad, say hello to these motherfuckers.
Hello, people.
I would really expect you to say hello, motherfuckers.
Nope.
Can I get you to?
I'm classy.
So
That's a first.
Yeah. You're Pretty Woman post-whoring. Is that what I'm getting out of this?
Yeah.
All right. Sick. So we're here. We're gathered here today. I think I've done that before too. To do what movie, my friends?
As above.
So below.
Oh, that was so romantic.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's right.
So if we refer to the movie at any point that by title, I want you guys to do the exact same thing.
We'll see. We'll see.
I want you guys to do like a Donnie and Marie style duet. Or maybe Elton John and that chick. Don't go breaking my heart.
I don't know that song.
Don't go breaking
No.
my heart.
I don't.
Oh. Okay. I
Don't
do.
go breaking my
I still
heart.
don't. That's the only part of the song I know.
Yeah.
sure.
True.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Jake's like, yeah, for sure. That's the only part I know.
Yeah.
As he goes into
I
full
fake it.
chorus.
Fuck. Of course I know all the words. Like Elton John.
Do you have the full leotard that he wears? I said leotard.
Leotard. That sounds like a fucking Pokemon, doesn't it?
Do you have the full leotard
Can I trade you my leotard
that
for your...
Donnie wears?
Okay,
While
I know one Donnie song. You know what it is? Let's get down to business to defeat.
Is that a Donnie?
the
That's a Donnie
Huns.
song?
Yep.
Wow.
Also made famous by Jackie Butt fucking Chan. You know he sings that song?
I did not.
It's weird. It's weird. I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan. Going back to like Police Story, Jackie Chan fan. And
Yeah.
it's fucking weird to hear him sing that song. Or any song for that matter.
Huh.
I used to own every Jackie Chan movie ever made.
Rumble in the Bronx is my favorite.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
That broken foot sock is the
Dude,
funniest
oh my
fucking thing.
god.
That's
It's like a
great.
giant rubber fucking sock that looks like a tennis shoe.
Yeah. But did
Yeah.
you notice it in the actual movie?
No.
Yeah.
Fuck
It's
no.
crazy.
Because it's Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
That's right.
You don't dare ask questions of Jackie
Yeah, it's
Chan.
like-
You just get told.
When people reference Rush Hour and they're like, oh yeah, it's
Chris Tucker?
Chris Tucker. That's right. It's Chris. They're like, oh, Chris Tucker is hilarious, right? He makes the movie, and you're like,
Nah.
Nope.
I don't
Hard
know
pass.
about that."
Nope. You gotta have Jackie.
Right.
I was thinking about something with Jackie Chan, and then my brain escaped because I was thinking of Chris Tucker doing that bzzz from Fifth Element.
What was the other one? He was
He was in
drunken,
Silver Linings Playbook, and I was like, oh my god, he's on screen again. That's so weird.
drunken Shaolin monk. Was it?
Oh, Legend of Drunken
Drunken
Master.
Master.
Drunken
Yeah.
Master is
Love
my
that
favorite
one.
of his
That's
That's
a
movies.
really
great
good.
one. Absolutely.
So, quick question. How long until we get famous enough that a band like Ash does a song like Kung Fu where they name drop us specifically? You know, that you should remember because in Rumble in the Bronx,
Blancs.
In the
Ooh.
Bronx.
I'm thinking of like Lego bricks. I kind of want to make a Lego brick version of that movie now.
Rumble in the Blocks.
Yeah,
That'd be fucking
the
sweet.
Roblox version of it. Like Lego's like, no, we're distancing ourselves from that terrible idea. But yeah. So if you're in a band, Kyle Trickle and the Strangers, or any other fucking bands that we have pimped mercilessly on this show on the Hidden Tracks, which are audio exclusive, by the way. If you're in one of those bands, name drop slashers podcast at gmail.com or whatever you want to do. Not telling you how to live your life, but that would make my life a hell of a lot easier for your 5 listeners to come double our 5 listeners, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, nobody?
Nah, saying.
No, our numbers are really good. I'm really surprised by the Facebook support because I hate Facebook
I've
and
been
I stopped
slamming it.
Facebooking for years. And now we're like, Brian, do you want to read off the
Oh.
statistics that you found where it's like your fan interaction has gone up 1 million
Yeah.
percent?
Hold, please. Let me pull this up. This is fucking astronomical here.
Yeah, this is Captain Ginyu with the fucking scouter, right? Hey guys.
Okay, so
That's
you
my
know,
anime reference. Are you happy? After Vampire Hunter D last week, now I know all the animes.
yeah, that's very good.
Keep going, bud.
That's good. I like it. So you know, considering this is our first and ever month that we've continuously used Facebook,
Well, we deleted the old Facebook because there was an issue, and then we started a new one.
And
so
then-
it's
and then-
nothing.
So it went from nothing to like us going fucking hard, like nonstop.
Raw dog.
Raw dog. Insights for our Slashers podcast page says that our new page likes it's low. It's the lowest out of the statistics.
Yeah.
55,500%. That is our new page likes. Our post reach is up 10,000, and it is that I'm trying to count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1,034,900% is our post reach. So thank you guys.
Thank you. You've done us a great service.
And our post engagement, I mean, slightly above the new page likes. It's only at 84,250%. So,
which is hilarious. Like Facebook. Wait, there have been a couple people who are a little fucking weird. I'm not gonna lie, but you know there are people out there because you block them too. I'm sure, but I have to say it's so refreshing compared to Instagram, because Instagram people are like, ooh, I don't know if I can follow you,
right?
Because I don't want to give up my follow ratio. But there are people who like literally stalk our fucking Instagram where it's like, I like everything you put out, but I won't follow you because I can't be known to follow you. I'm like, come on, motherfucker.
Right.
You know how hard it is to come up with a new meme every day?
And what's so crazy about it is Facebook is so wild and free. Somebody doesn't even have to look at who like requested to friend them. They're just like add. I don't care. Whatever. Fuck it.
What's the worst could happen? Oh, you could have somebody messaging you at 3 a.m. and be like, hi, dear. Like,
although, I mean, apparently there's just from the pages and the people that I've spam followed, there's like been like a rash of like girls saying like I've been getting like a bunch of dick pics like sent, and they're like,
so sad.
Yeah, that's no bueno. But you know.
Like we talked. To
I mean,
Maddie on
I would put those fuckers on blast, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I always I like when people use whatever means that they can on Facebook or whatever to find that person's mom and then send the dick pic to the mom.
Oh no!
You ever heard people doing that? Oh yeah, they take a screen cap so they can show that it was the son who sent it, and they sent it to the mom. Ugh. I mean, but it's like that's like as bad as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, if push comes to shove, handle it.
The mom
the dick?
Handle it?
No, as in
okay. I was like, what the fuck?
No, as in come on, guys.
Just
As
grip
in,
it.
as in, send. As in, if
just slapping the dick like it's a whack-a-mole.
If a dick gets sent to you, turn it around and send it to the mom. Like
up his ass.
Like fucking send that shit. Don't hesitate. Like you should shame the fuck out of them.
Unless you're a girl who, in my single days, I sent a dick pic to. Awkward. Oh no.
If you still have it, send it our way.
I will kill you. Yeah. The last thing you ever see will be an 8-year-old picture of my dick, and not a picture of my dick when I was 8 years old. Yeah, I knew where you were going, fuck boy.
and then oddly enough, I'm like, wait, I know that freckle.
Oh, no. Brian, my secret molester, who was like 7 months older than me.
Oh, it's creepy.
So would you guys like some trivia on As Above,
So Below?
Thank you. I'm not just gonna let you guys powwow over there. I have rights and principles too, fuckers.
Fuck it.
Okay. With permission from the French authorities, the film was shot in the real catacombs of Paris. They just weren't allowed to take anything or disturb what was there. They had to add other things.
Yeah, that's fucking sweet because the bones,
Super
super real.
Yeah.
That I mean, I'm sure climbing over all of those bones, they weren't real bones, or were those actual bones
really
that
hope that they weren't? I mean,
like that's what I was like.
History, right?
Like they showed like a bunch of cool bones stacked up together and whatnot, and then it shows them like climbing up a rubble of bones, and I'm like, I hope it's not actual.
Yeah,
bones.
I don't know. When they're moving, they didn't seem too real.
Yeah. All right.
I've been around a lot of bones.
Damn bones. So I feel like they should have emphasized that a lot more in the promotional materials, because that itself is kind of unique and cool. But the promotional materials for this movie are fucking rad. We were talking about it because the inverted Eiffel Tower mimics the shape of the 9 circles of hell.
It's like a sexual position.
Eiffel Tower.
The inverted.
You left me hanging and I look like I Zig Heil, you sick fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Here, Eiffel Tower this way. Have you ever seen that episode of the IT Crowd? It's my
Oh.
favorite IT Crowd episode because that's the one where they play D&D. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You are fucking kidding me right now.
Nope.
Oh, dude, we're doing a watch
I just
party
wish
on
you guys could
Facebook.
just replay this over and over again. I flipped out. Especially the way you said it.
I was doing a British accent, okay?
Yeah, British. Sounds awful German to me.
Why don't you just shut up? You brown-haired, brown-bearded fuck.
Oh.
I wasn't me. Who was that? I think I'm going to take one of those angry Hitler memes where he has to break down and add new subtitles where it's just me yelling at you. And then Brian finds the best time to reference the fact that I made fun of an 18-month-old baby and said things that he was a racist. Our friend's kid.
Oh, poor Nathan.
Oh, yeah. I tried to leave his name out of it, but okay.
My bad.
So here's a great thing. Whenever I censor something on the audio version,
It'll
Chad does not censor it.
It'll get censored.
He doesn't censor it in the video one. And
Oh,
so,
never mind.
Oh, it's so funny because it like. Because there are sometimes where I'll do like the creative censorship where it's not an offensive word just to make it funny.
Right.
And then Chad just leaves it alone. Like, you know what you are? You're that fucking magician guy on Fox with the shitty mask who would like break all the rules and show everybody. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Nope.
You sick fuck. You don't know what I'm talking about? Magic tricks revealed or whatever on. He's a guy who had like.
I mean, I know. I've
Oh,
heard about
yes,
it,
the
but-
black.
the black mask that
okay,
looked like he was
yes,
one of the
yes.
fucking fat ninja kids.
He seemed like he was like the smoke version of Sub-Zero.
Yeah, okay.
That's what
I could
got
take
from
that.
her.
Okay.
Okay.
I always liked that character. Just to be 100% honest with you guys, I like
Really?
Snow.
All right.
He's aesthetic. I mean, he's like look, fucking ninja Batman. Why not?
I always liked the robot ninjas. Cyborg.
Cartax or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some Cyback. Wow. I was a Street Fighter guy. I don't know. I'm not good at it.
One of the fatalities I think was like where he like essentially a compactor came out of his stomach and then like crushed people.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was
You
fucking
know what
sweet.
I saw at a. Okay, so I was in Colorado, in Fun Valley, and there was an arcade, which was a sight to behold. Nothing fucking worked. All of the pool tables were uneven. I mean, it was a shit show. But the one in the corner that worked, Samurai Showdown 2. Do you guys ever remember that game?
Nope.
Oh, Brian.
Pretty
you,
sweet.
You keep saying that you want a Contra arcade console in here. We need to get that shit. Oh, also, if you have any recommendations on emulators, we were kind of looking at Super Nintendo high HDMI emulators. There are so many. I got anxious, like literally heart palpitations anxious, sent a few to you guys, and then put my phone down because it was worrying me. So if you have any that you'd recommend for our studio, our palatial studio, please let us know. Moving on.
It'll basically be Brian just playing video games as everybody else is setting up, as per usual.
Well, better than picking your navel, right?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Oh, well,
Well,
easy
last
echo.
week you got a nice little nap in on the floor.
He literally did.
You
Jesus.
did.
It was a rough one.
Oh,
It was rough. I mean, what? We didn't start till
I don't know.
10,
it was super late at night.
11?
Yeah.
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 I think so.
And we all work in the morning.
Cheers to that, guys.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had to be in Oxnard the next morning, and Oxnard sucks. No punchline.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think,
this-
yeah.
This film is in no way related to the 1973 film of the same name, which, brief synopsis, it's a movie involving 15 children being locked in a room who discover that they are not alone. Kind of want to do that one next.
Huh.
Dark,
That
right?
sounds super fucking creepy.
You know
It
those like
does.
one-sentence horror stories? That's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting.
All right. So the title comes from, there's a couple ways you can get there. Matthew 6:10 has the prayer that ends on earth as it is in heaven. So as effectively in this version, as below, so above.
Right.
And then there are other versions. Our Father who art in heaven, reveal who you are, set the world right, do what's best, as above, so below is one of the translations. It's also from the Emerald Tablet, which was a manuscript meant to inform you of the secrets of the Philosopher's Stone. So some people have been critical of the link between the Philosopher's Stone and Dante Alighieri's work. I actually don't think it's that bad.
Okay. Interesting.
So Virgil was in limbo, and Minos. These are just two little notes I wanted to put. Minos, when I get into that later, he is effectively Saint Peter, but for hell, because he tells you which circle you're going to. So just know those two names because those are the only ones you actually need to know in terms of mythology, besides Dante, obviously.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So we have King Satan did a song called As Above, So Below on a 2017 record called King Fucking Satan.
Okay.
Angel Witch did a song, and Comsat Angels did a song. I haven't listened to any of them. Do any of those sound awesome?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to check them out just because I check out all kinds of music. So
Nope.
King fucking Satan. I thought that for sure that was, I put that on a hook and I put power bait on it and I threw it over there and you were just like, nibble.
I'll check it out. I mean, just because I haven't fucking heard it doesn't mean I won't.
No, I'm saying what sounded best to try out.
Oh, King Satan.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Angel Witch. No
I
offense,
mean, I'm gonna
guys,
check
but,
out.
like,
I'm gonna check out all of those. So
hell yeah, we're gonna do it. But we already have a hidden track for this week. Sorry, fuckers. Moving on.
seems like it would be a doom metal, almost like one of those like very heavy, slow,
Ugh.
deep bass
Sludge.
fucking- Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
I love sludge
Yes.
so much.
Yes, that's
you know
what
how
I'm
hard
talking
it is
about.
to describe sludge metal to people who don't get it?
I
Yeah,
don't.
oh,
get
you-
it. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
I feel
at
like
all.
I feel like it's like a fine line between like the doom and the sludge when
Doom,
it comes
sludge, and stoner are super close.
very close, very close. Like
And that's
like
coming from a guy in a
school stuff.
drug-free mind shirt, and I'm like, stoner metal's great.
Old school stuff. So like My Dying Bride.
Oh hell
like
yeah!
old school My Dying Bride, where it's just like songs are like fucking 12 minutes long.
It also feels like you like a funeral march.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I love it.
Yep.
We'll send you some shit, Chad. We're gonna make you a playlist.
Chad won't listen to it.
I will not.
Yes, you will.
Meanwhile, Chad's like, I've listened to it like 4 times.
So
Ew.
I'm not a music guy. Sorry.
Yeah, specifically chapter.
Ew, Kaka, don't say it.
I actually sent that to both of you to warn you.
because you memorized when it is.
Every line.
Honestly, like I just fiddled with my phone instead of listening to that part. I just kept
Fiddles with
pressing,
his phone. Quotes.
advancing 15 seconds at a time.
I'm
trying
flying. Oh my god, it feels like I'm flying.
To get past it. Oh Jesus!
Oh,
Is that how he describes her orgasm?
yes.
Fuck! I literally fast forwarded. I couldn't handle it. It was so gross.
You're welcome.
It makes no sense. Why would he do that? Anyway, this is not the Stephen King
We'll
podcast.
get there. We'll
Yeah,
get
don't
there.
worry.
It's coming
I
in
mean,
August,
I-
motherfuckers.
I feel
and-
like after so many weeks of consistent, like us talking about this fucking book and movie, by the time it
Oh.
actually happens, they're like, "Oh, thank fucking god!"
and they're
Yeah.
gonna feel like they're flying, right? It's gonna be this orgasmic release. Like finally.
Ugh, gross.
All right, the budget, stabtistics. Let's get into it. $5 million. Return on investment, $41.9 million.
Fucking killed it.
Damn.
Fucking killed it.
That's pretty damn
As
good.
far as a horror flick, that's extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, this
Yeah.
is what you want in a horror film. Horror films are classically low cost, low budget, high yield. It's something that a lot of people like to see in a communal relationship, like at a theater. So you get that. Versus like a drama. I don't give a fuck about your drama. I could watch your drama on my phone on the way to church,
Right.
which
exactly.
I'm gonna burn down.
Do you happen
Whoa,
to notice the runtime?
You mean 93 minutes?
Oh, perfect. So good.
Spectacular. For a second there, he had me worried that it was gonna be like 66 minutes, 0.6 seconds or something. I was like, nah.
Oh, it's
No.
fucking beautiful if it was. I mean, come on now. It makes sense.
It would. Oh, but there's 9 circles of hell. So 93 minutes. There you go.
And 3 goes into 9.
Well, and then also you have Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso from Dante Alighieri's works. So
You
that's
lo-
where the 3 comes up.
You lost me.
No, it's good. I did a good job. So anyway, the opening window was August 29th, 2014. Opening weekend, $8.3 million. They're already making butt fucking money off that first weekend. That's awesome for a horror film.
Yeah, that's great. Absolutely.
All right, we move on. The week after Leprechaun Origins came out is when this came out.
Ugh,
You don't like it?
I don't.
It's not good.
It's terrible.
I wouldn't say terrible. It's not good.
So here's the thing, I feel like for found footage films, they always do well. It seems like.
Because the budget is nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and
Holding
I
a
feel
steady
like
cam
I feel
compared
like
to having the camera rigs and all that.
if you advertise this properly, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a
See-
found footage film.
Right. it always looks-
Blair Witch is fucking perfect example.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
wife actually remembered the trailer from this from 2014,
Oh.
and she never had seen it. So that's how effective the marketing was. She didn't know the name. She didn't know who was in it.
And
She
again,
just remembered the way that they presented it.
and
That's cool.
I feel like the stylistically, and I'm sure people have probably done studies as far as like why found footage films work regardless of what it is, like the Chernobyl and all that. For me, I can see myself in their shoes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
right. And you're like,
definitely
oh,
down to earth.
I can see myself doing this home video kind of fucking thing, even though it's like a cameraman. You can imagine yourself going down into the catacombs.
Yeah, it's real raw, and you're able to like have a lot of like sneaky jump scares because it's super easy to do.
Exactly.
You
'Cause
can
your
like control the
perspective
camera
is
so much.
Yeah, exactly. Because if we're doing a wide perspective, you see Frankenstein walking from the back of the shot to the front of the shot. But if it's you and you turn around, it's there. I think that's one of the things that makes it more relatable. Now, what's your favorite found footage film? I'll go first because I've already rehearsed this in my brain. Cloverfield. Fuck you. So many people hate that movie, but imagine, like, this is something that always drives me crazy about kaiju films because I'm kind of a nerd and I love them all. Imagine the scale of devastation. And that's like the one kaiju, arguably, film that really encapsulates you are a speck and this is a giant monster that rips through steel girders as if it was tissue cloth.
Yeah.
So I thought that one was really good.
I liked the movie a lot, but when it came out, I felt like there was just so much found footage films already that were like coming out.
Fatigue.
It basically turned me off from it. And I don't even like found footage films that much, but I did enjoy the original. What is it?
Paranormal Activity?
Yeah, Paranormal Activity.
Real good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's a lot of good camera work, and it's also that he kind of props the camera up a little sometimes, so it's not, so shaky.
Yeah.
So I think that also helped me enjoy that film even more.
Those static shots actually really serve to make it a dynamic film because when it's static are the times where the most happens, like when she gets ripped down the hallway.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Fun fact, the most profitable film of all time.
Really?
Statistically. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow,
He
that's
paid for it
crazy.
all by himself. Because I think the guy was working as like a software engineer or something like that. And this was like his passion project over the weekends. And then the amount of money that it made and the sequels that
Wow.
it spawned, even itself, not even including the sequels, it had the lowest budget and the highest reward.
Huh.
Brian, what's your favorite found footage?
Snooze alert. It's this one.
Ah.
No, you know what? I actually had recommended this one that we cover, and it's the wife and I's favorite film as far as found footage. So
That's romantic.
she doesn't typically like horror films. I've slowly turned her to the dark side, but
Playing the long con.
She recommended this one a lot, and
You were like, fuck, fine already.
she also said that, she would turn off her horsey podcast and listen to this episode. So cheers, babe.
Oh,
She has
awesome.
a horsey podcast?
Yeah.
Is it like a brony thing?
Oh no.
Did I ever tell you guys the time that I accidentally ended up in a brony like clan on Destiny?
That's awesome.
Because I don't know, maybe I was doing Destiny wrong, but in order to get on a clan, you had to go through the desktop version of Bungie or whatever. So I clicked the first one, which is something about stallions. And I was like, okay, cool. Italian, stallion, whatever, right? So I'm playing with this guy for like 45 minutes. Seems totally normal. I'm like, all right, this is cool.
What's up, bro? You want to meet at Furry Fest?
Not that overt, but like, in playing Borderlands, it's silly, it's fun. No, I never once had drama there. So I thought, okay, this is my new Borderlands. This is cool. And the guy's like, so what got you into My Little Pony? And his voice had like changed into like rape voice. And I was like, God, what is this? And I just muted him. And then he literally was like standing in front of me and blocking me and to try and get me to unmute him. And then I just had to quit. And I was like, okay, I'm never playing this game again. I literally haven't played it since.
Huh.
So when we went camping, my wife's nephew was like, oh, hey, what about Destiny 2? What about Destiny 1? I'm like, not doing it. He's like, oh, you have Xbox? I was like, no, I don't. Don't even ask. So we're moving on. Directed and written by John Erick Dowdle, and it was co-written by his brother Drew. Drew Dowdle sounds like a fake name.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it
I
is.
hope it's Andrew Dowdle. That sounds a little bit less fake. Drew Dowdle sounds like a Harry Potter character.
Sounds like Drew's diddling his dodle.
Aren't Dodles extinct?
Dodos?
It was a joke,
Oh.
Chad. Come
I was like,
on.
what?
Chad's like this.
I'm very literal?
Actually.
Did you know that you're fucking wrong? So this guy is also responsible for doing Quarantine, which isn't bad, and
No, that's
Devil,
not bad.
which is
It's not bad.
surprisingly competent for a movie that takes place in an elevator.
What was that?
I actually
Devil?
enjoyed Devil.
I think
which
it was
was really
directed by
shocking.
M. Night Shyamalan, but I think he wrote it.
I
Yes.
did not see it.
And that's, I think, what surprised me because that was after he had a lot of flops.
M.
A
Night,
lot of flops.
And then he had flops after that.
Wasn't it like the Awakening one or
M.
whatever?
Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah.
When the plants kill the people. Was this after he?
That's the
Happening.
The
Happening,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
with,
after he butt fucked the last Airbender?
With Mark
I think so. Mark Wahlberg.
Wahlberger.
Wahlburgers.
Marky Mark.
Those are actually good burgers.
Are they?
I had them in Vegas.
Gordon Ramsay has a delightful veggie burger.
I think
How about that shit,
the
dog?
last M. Night movie I saw was The Town. No, the
Village.
Village. Yeah.
With like
Which
the
it
twist, which is like
it was okay.
Really?
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I feel like it was somewhere in between.
if I had never seen an M. Night movie and had no expectation of a twist, I think I'd like it. But I was sitting there going, that's it? That's the twist?
Yes, I agree with that completely. I was not pleased with that movie.
What is it's? They're like a super hardcore like Amish village.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of the shots, like visually, were really nice and done well, but
Yeah, I don't know.
Boring. We're moving on. Nicknames, snick names, brick names.
Dick names.
There we go.
all right.
Perdita Weeks as Scarlett. I
Okay.
had told you about this. I already have the name picked. And if either of these gentlemen tell you otherwise, they are kicked off the show. And
Kicked
I will
off the
have their
show.
guts for
He told
garters.
us earlier. So
Laura Croft. British,
It's-
brunette, DSLs.
It's
and-
whatever.
You are kidding me. She does riddles. She runs. She's in the dark. She's in a tomb and she's raiding the tomb for the Philosopher
Yeah, no,
Stone.
that's good. That's good. Absolutely.
But she needed
hey,
man's help, and Laura Croft does not.
We'll go ahead and agree with you because we don't want to get kicked off the show.
Forget it. I'm leaving.
Don't imply that I am a fascist.
I really am. I'm going to go bathroom.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh shit.
So she was in Spice World, Ready Player One, and Stig of the Dump. I have no idea what that is. but
Stig of the dump.
I don't know what it is.
I feel like that's what Chad's gonna do right now.
Yeah, dude. Flush twice. All right. You know that old expression like measure twice, cut once? I think for Chad, we need to reverse that to
Cut twice.
flush twice during the process. Don't kill Jake's plumbing.
Jesus.
I don't want to snake the drain.
I mean, he. Do you like the colors inside your bathroom? Because he's probably painting the walls.
Oh, luckily it's an off brown, or what is there not such a thing as an off? It's brown.
This is terracotta brown.
Oh, so gross. So then we have Ben Feldman as George. You might remember him. He's Jonah on Superstore. He was in Friday the 13th, 2009, and Cloverfield. Oh, fuck.
Oh shit! I feel like you just talked about that.
I did.
Huh? About that?
I don't know if those are things that are mutually exclusive in my brain or if I had one and the other from the research I did.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, the names on this one are kind of lame. So I was going to call him Jonah just because I watched Superstore. Do you watch that show?
Mm-mm.
As far as Office clones go, it's pretty okay.
I feel like. So, what were you gonna call him?
Well, Jonah's his character's name. We could call him Superstore.
Jonah is his name. I thought it was George.
In Superstore, it's Jonah.
Oh, got it. I was just gonna call him the Fixer.
Oh, that's way complimentary. That
I
sounds
mean,
cool.
He essentially.
Yeah,
He
He's a cog.
he
maker.
solves things.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Seems kind of simple, but
Oh, his name in real life is
simple,
Ben.
Brian.
Check this out, Brian. His name in real life is Ben. He fixed a giant clock in the movie. He could
Big
be
Ben.
Big Ben.
Big Ben.
Yep. Eiffel Tower.
That one worked.
Yeah. Edwin Hodge as Benji. He was in Big Mama's House, The Purge, Purge Anarchy, and Purge Election Year. You
Huh.
notice a theme here.
He really likes the Purge.
So I was thinking we instead of Benji, we could call him Binge or Bingy
Mine is
because you Bingy and Purge.
I don't know. Mine's super not PC. Get ready for it.
No.
Token.
Ah.
But is
It's a democracy. You all can pick.
I mean, he is literally the only black guy in the film.
Yeah. If you're
And
if you're
shocker, he dies.
but second, but he's also an illegitimate father. Ooh. So yeah, we can
Yeah,
call
so
him
who
that.
said something worse here?
I was
Token or illegitimate father?
I was just furthering your point. I was helping you.
Hmm.
So we can call him that. Francois Civil as Papillon, which, if I'm not mistaken, is butterfly.
Papusa.
Yeah, Papusa's fine.
That's what I've been calling him all night.
Marion Lambert as Susie, the Banshees, right? Susie and the Banshees.
Susie and the Banshees. That's what she's actually named for, right?
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
reference.
So you
So
want
they
to
were
just call her?
nicknaming her before.
You want to just call her the Banshee?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We have Hamadreza jabbed it. Hamadreza sounds like something you say when you get like spider web in your tongue. Hamadreza. As Reza, he's the boy who lived. He's like the only. Why does he survive this fucking movie? He makes like a weird triangle at the end.
Yeah, I don't understand. He's like, oh, I haven't seen my son in so long, and you're like, wait, so you should die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, prick.
Well, he denies he even had a son. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 2 bastard fathers of whatever.
Yes.
Anyway, anything for him?
I mean, I was just going to call him Zed because that's his name, and it almost sounds like a nickname. Zed.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
What was the show? Zed the Destroyer?
Zed's dead.
No, it was
yeah,
the
it's-
alien.
Yeah, the alien. I think it is Zed the Destroyer, something like that.
Zurg. Isn't that Buzz
Zurg
Lightyear's
was
enemy?
but Zurg was his little
Zed,
minion.
Lord Zed
Lord
from Mighty
Zed.
Morphin Power Rangers.
No.
There's like a cartoon about.
How does
I'll
Jake?
Google
How
it.
does Jake not know about a fucking cartoon?
I fucking name dropped the Jewish awesome blood man.
Wow,
remember?
someone's getting aggressive.
Well, hey, I think that it's awesome that they had him and Rita Repulsa having a proper Jewish wedding. How cool is that? I remember
Listen
trivia.
here, fuck boy.
Oh, you did not. Are you finding it? Oh, because it doesn't exist because it's fake. Is that what you're Googling, Chad?
Zed.
Zed. Okay, you put in Zed
I
Destroyer,
put
then Zed the Destroyer. Didn't change anything.
Zed. Just type in Zed cartoon.
Okay. Drum roll. This is really great TV, guys.
Cartoon Network.
Gen Z? What the fuck? Why would I
I
fucking
have
know
no
that?
idea.
No,
I could have sworn it was Zed.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Oh, wait, this guy, right? This dude.
Yeah.
That's a fan.
Invader
Zim?
Zed.
Invader
You
Zed.
asshole! I would have totally known Invader Zim. That's one of my favorite cartoon shows of all time. You don't what?
Listen here, fuck boy.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I cannot with you right now. We're not friends anymore, Chad.
Because it's Gur. Because Gur.
You are my Gur.
Oh.
I have 2 Gurs. How the fuck did this happen?
You're welcome.
I would love to do an entire episode on Invader Zim. Is it horrifying enough? I feel like it is.
Oh,
It
it totally
is a
is.
visually
Absolutely.
fucked show.
Yeah, the whole like weird fucking parents that they like
The robot
like
ones
the
that he has that are fake.
animatronic
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
robot.
gross.
Yeah. Fucking awesome.
I also think it's an awesome parody of Charlie Brown.
How cool would it be if they made like maybe live action? No, maybe?
I could see it being awesome.
It'd be fucking
The
cool. I
budget's
think.
way too high for it to continue as a cartoon show, but there is a super solid following.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, Jonan Vasquez is the guy who created. He also did Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, which I never got really into that, but I
Mhm.
really love this. It's kind of like with you guys have heard me rant about Robert Kirkman, right? Where I love Invincible, but I've never liked The Walking Dead. And this is kind of the same thing where everybody's always over here going, no, but you need to try this thing. And I'm like, look, I know what I like. Back the fuck off, or I'm going to jettison you into space.
Walking Dead sucks. I'm
Hi-
sorry.
Eiffel Tower.
Woo!
Yes. If you have any questions or complaints, please send them to hr@slasherspod.com, which doesn't
We'll
exist.
be happy to ignore them.
You'll get a good bounce back email.
All right, let's move on to the recapitation. Which one of you sluts is doing it?
Brian.
Wait,
Right.
what? Recapitation?
Recapitation.
I was not ready
rhymes
for
with
this.
Oh, wait, I was supposed to do
masturbation.
No, it's fine.
'Cause
Brian
you're-
can do it.
no,
No,
I'll do
you're
it.
just
All across the
wow.
nation.
How quickly the tune has changed.
Oh.
So,
Girl goes.
hold on. Did you just say, girl, goes to? Sorry, keep going.
I hate you so much.
Dude, it's so funny. We've had multiple people since the Facebook resurgence reach out. Oh, the So I Married an Axe Murderer episode's my favorite. I'm like, oh, just wait. You're gonna get real sick of the beat poetry real fast.
Girl goes into Iran.
Yeah.
I ran so far away.
Oh god.
And sorry.
Girl goes in search of Sorcerer's Stone, ends up going to Iran and then Paris. She manipulates everyone to help her because she's
A girl.
a girl.
She has boobs.
Oh shit.
She has boobs.
Boobs. She's got the power of the vag.
Actually, I have boobs too. I'm wondering if I can.
Dude, you don't
manipulate
got me beat.
Come on.
Come on, I got a solid B. Anyway, they go into the catacombs underneath Paris, run into some crazy shit.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. And end up going to hell and all its layers.
It's layered splendor.
And then she comes out.
It's like a 7-layer dip of hell.
Yeah.
Dude. I really want to make like a really spicy dip now and call it like Dante Alighieri's 9-layer dip.
It has to be 9-layer dip. How fucking cool with that?
Dude, I think that'd be awesome.
It has to have like hot Cheetos in it and shit.
Excuse me, Takis. Takis for sure.
Oh, okay, Takis, whatever.
Okay, we could unite forces. Have you heard the Hot Cheetos and Takis song?
No.
What? You guys are fucking kidding me right now.
Do you sit at do you go to work and just sit
Hot
on the
Cheetos and
internet all day?
Takis. Hot Cheetos and Takis. I can't get enough.
I don't know.
never.
It's like
lot-
wait, check it out. It's
I feel
an
like
after
it's
school
like a-
program that taught these kids to do musical talent or whatever.
I have
and they
a
have music
pen.
video.
I have an apple. Pen apple.
Apple.
Or apple pen. Have you not heard that?
No.
What the fuck?
What?
Wow.
Oh.
No
Okay.
idea.
Well then,
All right.
to each your own, I guess.
Okay, here's another one. I showed my coworkers today. It's 12 years old. Show me your genitals. Genitals. Show me your genitals. Genitalia.
Nope, nothing.
Never
What?
heard of it.
Nope.
Dude, you gotta YouTube that.
But
That's
you know
hilarious.
what? I mean, I feel like we all came together earlier before the episode. Maya, Maya,
oh,
Maya, Maya.
Oh yeah. You can book us as well.
You're welcome, guys.
Dude, we just rockapella this shit. All right, can we move on? Please, for the love of fucking God.
All right, we're gonna do dun dun dun. Slay my brain.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba.
So the way the movie starts out, it has Lara Croft. I feel like
She's
I
raiding
guess,
a tomb.
I guess is
Oh, no.
Lara Croft.
It starts off with her in a bus, and she's
Yes,
like, "I'm going to
Lara
explain to
Croft.
you what hijabs are and why."
Yeah, so
Jesus.
she's basically getting filmed explaining why she's going to Iran so far away, and
Thank you.
Their white privilege.
and how much of how crazy it is to actually be there. They're saying like, okay, well, if you get caught going to different tombs, they will bury you, and then for some reason, I feel like it should just be stoning. But she's like, they take a stone wall and they push it over you. So they build a stone wall and then they push it over you. That sounds like way too much
That's
work.
shoddy craftsmanship is what that is.
It sounds like way too much work.
Quick question. You made the reference to that I ran so far away.
Oh, I did?
You did. Now, quick thing. Is it worth making a meme out of a flock of Smeagol's from Lord of the Rings?
No. Why? Why is Smeagol even involved in any of this? I take Smeagol very seriously.
Yeah, Gandalf titties over here. It's not usual for Gandalf titties to be staring at me. This is why you need to watch the YouTube version, because you will see Brian's breasticles.
You're welcome.
Sort of. Covered in hair.
Yeah, but you know what's perfect is Gandalf's chesticles are right here, and it's like within his beard, and I got my nipple, but it's covered in black.
You know
And
what's
so
gonna be
it's
great?
almost like a 3D beard coming out of the tattoo.
When you get old, your
Yes,
chest hair is going to be
absolutely,
white, and you're going to have white beard
Yes,
on his
Gandalf the White.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's great.
And then I'm just gonna shave everything but that.
Hell yeah. A little magical tuft. You know what would be great? So here's the thing. We need, Brian, I need you to make eye contact with me right now. This is a very serious
okay.
recommendation. When your chest hair gets white and you make Gandalf's chest white, his facial hair white on your tattoo of him on your chest, I want to take a red magic marker and turn him into Santa Claus once a year.
Fair enough.
Hell yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right. So she's in the tomb. She finds rose key?
Yeah, well, I mean, she meets up with Reza, right? And she apparently he knows her father. And he makes comments saying, hey, your father went mad. I hope you don't go down the same path. Clearly she seems like she's going down the same path.
Oh, yeah.
He's like
an estranged father, by the way, Lara Croft.
Right. By the way,
Or dead father,
they're
whatever.
about to demo this fucking hole that's connected to my house. So let's hurry the fuck up. So they go down into the tunnel. They see a bunch of security guards. They kind of hide. It's very tense moment. I like it. Right off the bat, it seems like it's a tense movie.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's more suspenseful than a lot of the stuff that happens underground.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it's believe. I don't want to say none of the other stuff is believable, but you can understand the seriousness in them sneaking into something that is about to be demoed, and there's like armed guards everywhere, because it's like, no, they will shoot you. That
In
is
the
something
face.
more believable than some satanic figure down in the fucking tombs.
Yeah.
So they're hiding. They get away from the people. They come across a inscriptions on the wall, right? And from the inscription, she somehow discerns that she needs to break a hole
Yeah.
through the wall. They don't really explain why. She's like, okay, you know what? This is where I need to break through this. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna Hulk smash it.
Yeah.
She's like, go, girl power, whatever. But I'm like, oh, this fucking cute little petite girl. She's like, yeah, and just like fucking destroys it. And they find a bowl, right? The Brahma bowl. They find the
Yes.
rock.
Yes.
The rock is literally fucking at it.
And he's doing the people's eyebrow.
No, so they find a bull statue. Apparently is the rose key, and that is what is needed to translate stuff later on in the film, right?
Yes.
It's like a key, essentially almost like a map.
Right.
So she is able to take film or take video of all of the inscriptions within the rose key. The sirens are blaring. It's very high intensity as far as kind of like the anxiety factor. And I feel like
for sure.
I feel like that's what really I don't want to say triggered, but like for Michelle, she's a very kind of anxiety driven person when it comes to watching films. Like it like drives up her anxiety when she can put herself into the film itself.
Right.
Right. And so she like right off the bat, she was just like, oh fuck, this is a fucking great movie,
Yeah.
So they demo the place. She barely makes it out. And you kind of get your first glimpse of like found footage where it's like her scrambling up through the debris.
And do
like
you
the
notice the guy in
shaky-
the background?
Well, yeah.
I did not.
That's the thing. It's so frantic that you don't see her dad literally hanged in the
he's
background.
hung up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
There's like a quick pause, and she like looks, and he's hanging from the ceiling.
That's cool.
It's a really cool effect because
Right.
it
I'll have to
sets
go back
forth
and see that.
as soon as she opens that little tomb thing, as soon as she raids the tomb, if you will. All this shit.
I wonder why you're referencing that.
I don't know. Did you know that? Okay,
Hey,
so
I feel like we should make a poll for all of our nicknames.
I feel like we should make a poll and shove it up your ass.
Anyways, so yeah, she barely makes it out. Reza grabs her arm, and you know what? I have to make a point of saying how selfish she fucking is, like right off the bat.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
like, he reminded her multiple times, like, we should not be here. Let's leave now. She's like, no, just
He
a little
even
bit
says,
more.
"I have a family. I want to get out." And she's like, "I don't care."
Can we go skip to the end of the movie so I can make a point about her? Because I'm gonna kind of refer to it throughout. It's bullshit that you get to the 9th layer of hell that is saved for betrayers and nobody dies. It should be her who dies. She betrays these people and their trust, and she abuses them in order to get what she wants.
Right.
She does it to Reza.
Yeah, but you know
she does it to all
what?
these guys. Bing, bong, boom.
I feel like essentially it's not within the moment. It's what's happened in the past. That's all that we're judged. It's not something that's happened like at the moment. Right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can
So
accept that.
she's making peace with not accepting the phone call from her dad. Him not
I don't have a problem with that. I actually like that she atones for it, but my idea is that she atones, but she still dies. Like when a killer comes back. For that
so
final
essentially
scare.
both of those guys jump down and they live the fall, and then she just like fucking
Splat.
just gets destroyed.
Yeah, because she hasn't atoned for the fact of what she's doing right there.
I was hoping that at the end, when they kept going deeper and deeper, when they actually came out into the world again, it would just be like,
Satan's asshole.
yeah, just like super hell. And they're like, oh shit, we really are out. But
Super
Dude,
hell. It's
Super
like-
Hell sounds so fun.
it's like-
That sounds like a video game that needs to be made. And if you want to make it and then sell it to us for $1 that we could then sell on the App Store for $5, that'd be great. Any fans? Nobody? Okay, cool. Moving on. She then is being interviewed about her goals for the Philosopher Stone, and she's effectively says, I don't give a fuck about the stone. I want the truth of it. And that's something that somebody who is very up their own ass says.
Yeah.
You don't want to live forever? I mean, then you get the name drop of Nicholas Flamel, and I was like, oh my God, Harry Potter.
Harry.
Blah. Blah.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a snake face on the back of somebody's turban head.
Did you happen to think that how upfront Benji was with asking her about her father committing suicide? You're like, whoa, that just went straight into it. Like,
and
no
the look
beating
on her face
around.
was good of like, I'm trying to keep on a straight face, but I hate you right now.
Yeah, no beating around the
she's
bush
like,
at
why?
all.
Because he killed himself, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure that. So then, they talk about the mystery of Flamel and the fact that he was buried, and then grave robbers tried to, raid his tomb, if you will, and didn't find a body. And that's the mystery of where he is. And then she, with her receding hairline like Nicolas Cage in National Treasure, sets off on a grand quest, right?
Right. So she, she happens to mention that she doesn't really know how to translate any of this. So
it's all
she's
Greek
like,
to me.
Yeah.
but
So she manipulates another man.
she's like, oh, it just so happens that we're in the same city as another guy who knows how to translate this. And
Whose
it's funny
dick I have tasted.
because George like clearly doesn't want to talk to her, but she's like, oh no, I have this motherfucker on GPS. I know exactly where he is.
Almost
Yeah, he's
as
like
if she
working,
betrayed
fixing
him.
a clock, and she's like, oh, I know exactly where he is. Here he is.
Exactly. It's
And
a
she
little
breaks
creepy.
into a church to find him.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah.
So, they break into a church. They go up to where the for whom the bell tolls.
Chad, do you know that reference?
Nope.
Have you seen the beginning of Zombieland?
Yes.
Yeah, Metallica song.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
So they go up.
I still think
and,
Metallica sucks. I just know it.
Oh, okay.
like right off the bat, George mentions like, oh, nope, fuck you. I do not want to talk to you because of what happened in Turkey. And then
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit.
He even warns the other guy.
They slept in Turkey and then she left his ass and then he got sent to jail.
Well, he was high on tryptophan. Yeah, and so immediately as soon as she's like, oh yeah, well, Philosopher's Stone, blah, 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 he goes, oh.
Right.
Then the
Boing,
chimes
boing.
start dinging.
Well, but she mentions I actually think he mentions it first. He's the one that's like, let me guess, it's about the stone. And she's just like, well, yes. And he's like, fuck you. And then she's like, but I found the rose key.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Right.
that's when he's like, oh.
But then he
okay.
gets all mad because she went to Iran and it was so unsafe. And so he's
She went to Iran so far away.
Yeah. And
Yep.
he's so whipped that he was so concerned that she went to such a dangerous spot.
Right. He's like, oh,
Almost
man,
as
I
if
couldn't go
she's-
with you. Ugh.
You went by yourself?
She's his precious. His flock of Smigos.
Oh.
You're going to keep running with that, aren't you?
If you're going to keep saying I ran so far away, it's going to get stuck in my head. But the chimes start dinging, and it's the first time these people have heard the bells in 284 years.
284 years?
Yep.
No.
And,
Is there any significance to that?
fucked
Can we
if
look
I
it up?
know. I didn't.
Jake, did you look that up? Because I feel like you would
No.
look it up. No.
The thing with this is I really like this setup for this character. I like the way that they do it for Pap Smear. What was his name? Papusa.
Papusa.
I wish they did something kind of like it for each person where
Yeah,
it's like
where
the cosmos
there's a little bit
aligning.
there's a little bit of a backstory to him instead of just like meeting up and this is just some shallow character that's going to lead us into
like
our
the
deaths.
navigation, like they just that nudge 2 degrees and then
Yeah.
they go straight to the
I can see
box.
that. I can see that. Yeah, I mean, and it very clearly shows that he is the fixer, right? Hence the name. She needs him there.
Yeah,
There's
he doesn't
a
need
reason.
her.
There's a reason why he's always there
Right.
because he always has the answer. So
Yeah. And then he sweet talks a curator and she's super jealous about it. And then they get into the museum and she finds the headstone of Nicholas Flamel and she sets it on fire for some reason. And then she can figure out
Well,
where
You
the
got
thing
to
is.
put lime on it first.
right, so they were translating and it was lime and
Lime. but
Ammonia,
they-
ammonia.
Yeah. They
it was
used
ammonia
cleaner
and
instead
something.
of lime.
Yeah, so then she's like, "Oh, basically it's a basic cleaning, solvent." So she pours it all over the stone and they're like, "Yeah, you're fucking crazy. We're all going to jail." She lights it on fire and then he's like, "Whoa, cool magic trick. Do it again."
Again. I love it.
So they were able to transcribe whatever the fuck was on the back of the tablet because the Fixer is there, he's able to transcribe it. The only reason why they were able to go as far as they are is because of Georgie Boy. So Giorgio, if you will.
Georgie Porgy.
So from there, they end up going back to, I don't know if it's back to the hotel or wherever the fuck they are, but they're discussing where they like lay out a map, right? And they're like, okay, well, here's where the caverns are. Here is, how far, because they're like, oh, well, if it's so far down, I don't understand that because nowhere around here is going to be that far. And they're like, what? The caverns go this far. But then he's like, well, but that's only however many feet. And they're like, but there are also cave-ins. Happened when?
It's years ago when the street just kind
Right.
of disappeared and stuff.
He said there's two
Right.
cave-ins, and then they kind of figured out that those two cave-ins led. It means that there's an underground chamber.
Of secrets, maybe?
Maybe.
Salazar Slytherin. So from there, they go to the club. Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Yeah.
So she's trying to trick Papillon, Papusa, Papsmear into joining their little brigade of spelunkers.
Wait, don't they go into the caves first, and some weird guy says like, "Oh, you need to
Yes.
find this one guy."
Yes.
that-
Meet Papusa.
Right, to go
Yeah.
meet Papusa, and then he disappears.
But he comes back later.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's good.
Continue.
I actually didn't put a note about it
So they
because-
go to the club, and actually, part of the trivia that I actually remember reading about was that is an actual club in Paris,
Ugh.
and they were a DJ was actually playing a live set during the recording,
That's
which I
kinda
thought
nice.
was kind of cool. So
As opposed to just silence. Everybody silent. I love those when you see people who are dancing because there's no rhythm at all. And it's just like, that's the way white people dance.
Hey, sell it, man, sell it. You're fucking doing great.
Yeah, I don't know how familiar you are with this thing called the internet, but there's a great thing where people are racist against white people because very often in infomercials, when people do stupid things like they can't get the top off of a barbecue sauce bottle or they spill something on themselves, it's usually a dumb looking white person. And so they use those as a means of being racist against white people. It's the funniest fucking thing in the world. And if you haven't seen it, you should look. There are literally compilations of like 30 minutes of infomercial bloopers, which I guess they're not bloopers because they're effectively doing what they want to do. And it's hilarious.
I'll have to check it out.
You will.
So what's really great about this shot is it kind of shows what kind of person Papusa is, because he's like, well, who the fuck are you, and why do you think I'm just going to take you into catacombs? What do I look like, a tour guide? And they're like, okay, but by the way, there's treasure. Oh, the fucking tune changed real quick.
Did you get
Right.
a Lando Calrissian vibe out of him?
What was
Yeah,
that?
yeah, like an
Yeah,
attempt
yeah,
to be like
okay.
super suave and yeah.
I could see that.
He's
So-
been through some shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He asked for half the treasure that they find, and she's like, "You can have all of it." And then George,
Yeah,
like,
George-
whoa, half
George-
is mine.
George is like,
Negotiator of all
half is
time.
mine.
George is like, slow your roll. So
Simmer down now.
So they agree to half the treasure,
Right.
and then from there. But also, before they even get there, you see Benji happen to notice the girl
Yes.
outside of the club, and then as he's walking through, you look through the window and she's gone. Right, and
Yeah.
so that's kind of like a reoccurring theme with Benji.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it happens with Big Ben, George the Fixer, too, when he sees his little brother.
Yes.
Which I thought it's interesting that you have a character named George, a little brother who dies, and underground. I was like, huh,
Ah,
maybe an homage to Stephen King.
Georgie.
Oh, so I played air hockey against a kid at that shitty arcade over the weekend when I was in Colorado.
So the air hockey actually worked.
We had to test 7 different tables and one of
Wow.
them worked.
Okay.
And
by the way, real quick, there is an arcade that opened up in Glendora that we can go to.
okay, if you want to lose at air hockey, that's fine.
Ooh,
So anyway,
fuck.
I'm kicking
Hey,
this kid's ass. and
Bonus episode, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
it.
And so I'm kicking his ass, and he says the only reason he lost is because I look like Pennywise when I bent and like looked, up my eyebrows at him. And I was like, I can't
Is
tell
it
if
because of the red hair?
I don't have red hair. Do you think I have red hair?
Ginger?
I don't have ginger hair. My wife and daughter have ginger hair. I have like a speckled ginger beard, but that's it. How dare you? I mean, Not that there's anything wrong with gingers. I love them.
My bad.
No, we're
Sorry, I
all good.
did not know it was a hot
It's not.
topic.
I'm just making it a goof. You're fine. You brunette bastard.
My hair is so boring. Whatever.
You guys have hair. Shut up.
So then what happens? So god damn it.
So
They
this
go
is-
underground.
Yeah. Well, you meet the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Oh
so
god,
you,
and there's the tackling police. There's one
yeah.
police officer who ruins everything, and
So-
they decide to hide underground from one guy.
but even before that though, I have to make note of him bringing up, hey, what's up with Papusa's hand? Why is it burnt? And then Zed says, oh well, we don't talk about that, right? And so you're like, okay, something clearly happened in the past, so it's just a little bit of like
Good foreshadow.
setup. Yeah, exactly. So they end up walking down to where the entrance of the tunnel is, and you have the fixer, Big Ben, constantly reminding the group, constantly reminding Scarlett, I'm just here till you get to the tunnel. I'm just here until we get to the end of the treasure.
Yeah.
Wait.
Essentially the entire time. He's like, well, I just...
So Dante Alighieri. Dante clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today. That's what he reminded me of this whole time.
Okay, that makes sense. Absolutely.
Like my job is not to do that. My job is just to do this.
Right. I'm just here to transcribe everything that you need translated, yada yada,
Mhm.
and that's it. And then, fucking police officer comes, tackles Papusa. They all come, rushing down into the cavern. He throws smoke bombs like
Smoke
a G,
bomb.
like a G. All of a sudden, he's
Out of
just
his
like,
utility belt.
yeah,
Yeah.
fucking smoke bomb. And you're like, oh shit. Hopefully that's a smoke bomb and not a bomb. They all make it down, and and then from there they work their way down into hell.
And they find a choir with face paint that is silly dramatic. And Chad, what did you notice that I missed?
Titties.
4 of them I counted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both these guys didn't believe me, and I was like,
But
I've been married
Hey.
almost 9 years. If there's a nipple, I'll find it.
you know what's
Because
funny?
we all watch with our wives, right?
Yeah.
Why the fuck aren't they doing this episode? I'll put my feet up.
What's so funny about it too is I feel like it was such a quick flash of a moment, but Chad was like immediately like,
There.
pause. Here you go. This is where it's at.
And they're not even like great. They kind of look like yams. No offense to the ladies, but I mean, I've seen better.
What about my boobies?
Honestly, yours are fuller than theirs are, and Chad's are fuller than yours are. So I feel like Chad, with the right series of like mirrors, could get.
I feel like they have the paint from the like tribes from like South Africa,
Yeah, the red.
right?
And stuff.
The white and then the red and stuff like, or maybe it's just from Green Inferno.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Remember when I thought that movie was going to be good, and then we were like,
Well, I mean, it was
a movie.
worthwhile.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I feel like it was worthwhile.
It's your
just
Cannibal
the whole
Holocaust,
shock
yeah.
factor thing, and plus, I mean, I ended up taking the girl that I ended up marrying, so it was all worth it. So for you guys out there, take your lady friend to go see like it's in fucking theaters anymore. Watch Green Inferno together.
Or Cannibal Ferox or Cannibal Holocaust.
Or Cannibal Holocaust. But you know what? Green Inferno does not scream Hannibal. Or Hannibal. Cannibal.
Okay, I was
I
going
was
to say,
I don't
that's a
get it.
different series.
Yeah. It
Thomas
doesn't
Harris didn't write about tribal cannibals.
it doesn't scream cannibal, right? You can be like, oh, Green Inferno. It's like about like a fire in the Amazon that a bunch of firefighters like go and fight. Right? That's a Green Inferno. Like if you say Cannibal Holocaust, they're like, fuck you. I am not going to watch that.
Hard pass. So then what happens, gentlemen? I would tell you right now, but my app just completely crashed. That's fun. Okay, here we go. Sometimes, oh my God, I hated this. Sometimes the wrong direction is better, says the guy, because he's like, we don't want to go down that tunnel. It's spooky tunnel.
Right. So they have. Oh well, first they walk by his fucking signature tagging.
Pap.
Right.
Fuck boy. Right. That's a fuck boy.
You know the best
Not Brian.
okay, the
but that
best
guy.
tag of all time. Have you ever watched Summer Heights High?
No.
There's a kid named Jonas, and he does dictation. So he draws a dick and puts tation after it. Dictation.
I like it. It's a lot better in pap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pap schmear. On a bagel, you put pap schmear, right?
So yeah, they pass by it. He points
They
at it.
paps
He's like,
by it?
"Oh,
Oh.
fucking check this out. That's me."
I'm so cool.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, or whatever." So they get to a spot where it's almost like a fork, right?
Right.
They have the bones, damn bones, or they have a clear spot that seems like it would be the most logical spot. And Scarlett is very much throwing the temper tantrum that she gets used to. Lara Croft's like, "Oh, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm going to save a bunch of time going this way." He's like, "No, we never go that way. People that go there never are seen again." And you're like, "Oh, fuck. Maybe you should listen to Papusa." But no, they end up going, well, yes.
This is also where
Yes.
they reference that they had a friend that went missing.
Yes.
I don't know.
Biblioteca.
Something French.
Something that translates to the mole.
I have it here. Hold on.
La Tapoke.
La taupe. So
I
it's
was close.
made blow Nicomedes as la taupe.
Okay. So the mole. So yeah, they basically lost the mole. He lived down there for multiple years. He ended up knowing.
Or did he?
He ended up knowing all of the tunnels up until that point. And he's like, "Well, fuck it. Curiosity. What did it do? Did it kill the mole?
They
It might
definitely
have.
missed out on an opportunity.
Curiosity killed the mole."
When he comes back later, they should have been like, "Holy moly!"
I like it. So
Or if they're 80% of Brian's dinner, it would be guacamole.
that's true. It's a cheap dinner. I like it. So
Trying to think of other mole jokes. It's not working.
I'm like, oh God, what's gonna come out of his mouth?
Roly poly moly.
So they all end up going up the Mountain of Bones. And Benji then freaks out.
Yeah, he gets very claustrophobic for the first time and screams. And I kind of wish there were more sequences like this, just
Yeah.
because to make the environment scary, I think would have been more effective.
Well, yeah, and it just adds the element of claustrophobia,
Yeah.
which is like a very real fear for a good majority of people, I feel like.
I like this scene a lot. I thought it was really effective.
Well, one of the things that drives me crazy is so often you hear of fears like claustrophobia and they're almost made to look like that person is hypersensitive or something until you're in a situation where you've been like collapsed and can't breathe or whatever. I was digging a hole, funny enough, for an outhouse when I was like 13 or whatever, and there was a partial cave in and I had enough room to breathe, but I like legitimately terrified me that I was looking up a 6-foot hole that was just narrow enough for me to climb up. And if this chunk of the thing fell, the rest of it could fall and I could just die. And that
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, I totally get it now. 'Cause
My
up-
story is not nearly as cool.
Were you in a shithole?
No. I had to go get an MRI and I'm a big fat guy. So they had to they told me to fold my arms in because they couldn't fit me in the machine. And so shoving me in like a sausage and
Is
And-
it like a plunger?
yeah, if I could lay flat, I would have been fine. But because they had to squeeze me in and I couldn't move at all, I was totally like,
So
nah,
many-
I'm done. Get
For
me out
some
of this.
reason, I have the song from, what was it, Tommy Boy?
Fat guy in a little
coat.
Yeah, it's a fat guy in a little MRI. Fat guy.
How flattering.
So what I think is really cool about this scene is you don't see what happens behind Benji. You only have the camera view of like his face, his arms, how stuck he is. And then you hear the chorus of the people singing,
Yeah.
the booby ladies.
Well, what I love is that he's reacting to it. Like, why the fuck are they screaming?
Right. That's really cool because yeah, it's not something where it's the omniscient, like, oh, the audience hears that,
Yeah.
but he does not. Like it's clearly like, oh, they're singing more aggressively as he's like freaking out more. So I thought that was really cool. Finally makes it out. As he's wiggling, he ends up getting loose and it causes like a cave in, right?
Oh.
Of the damn bones.
As they're proceeding, then you find Pap has been there before, apparently, because there's his tag. But
yeah,
he's not
exactly.
been there.
It's
Right.
essentially it's a mirror of where they once were.
Exactly.
But
Right.
it's opposite, right? Just like a mirror.
Yep.
So he's like, well, that's none of this is right because this should be here and here should be over
Yeah.
there. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's real fucking funny. You've obviously been here.
Exactly. And then it cuts to the phone ringing, which I thought was a fun gag. This phone rings a couple times and they're kind of confused. And it's very interesting that you could hear simply a phone ring and it be somewhat chilling. And then when the phone goes, Laura Croft opens or answers it, hello. And it's her dad's voice saying, like, why weren't you there for me? Like,
Right.
Right. And they don't even say anything about it. She's just teary-eyed and hangs out.
which I understand, like the perseverance, because big boy George does the same thing later
Yeah.
when he sees his brother and when he has the thing with the piano, which is literally immediately after this,
Right.
he doesn't go, oh my God, you guys, my dead brother's ghost is here and I need to confess something to you. It gives you at least the breadcrumbs to get there, but it's not completely heavy-handed in your face. Like, oh, this is what we need to fix.
Right,
Yeah, I mean,
they-
he initially just said it at first, right?
Yeah.
Just like, oh, me and my brother used to play this song, and we had, it was just a piano just like this in the F4 or whatever the
Right.
fuck it was. Never worked. And
They
then,
do a lot of crumbs that kind of lead into like their fears and stuff, which is cool, and they don't spoon feed you.
right, and I like that they continuously add little tidbits of information as far as the tunnel. Oh, well, this is where the tunnel collapsed. This is where you had
100, yeah.
50 people come in for search and rescue and they all disappeared, right? And they also say, well, why the fuck is there a phone line? Well, aren't there phone lines running through here? Well, they used to have phone lines actually, but then they came and they took them all away. So I don't know why it was like 50 years ago or some shit is what he said. So everything seems to make sense. It's not just like, okay, well, here's some creepy sounding phone and we're not just going to explain anything at all. You're just going to be like, huh, that's interesting. Right? Like,
Yeah.
I like that part of this.
It's funny that it's a creepy phone, but it's a standard phone ring from like the 80s.
Yeah.
So this is something that's important. I took a quote from Dante Alighieri's The Inferno. No sadness is greater than in misery to rehearse memories of joy. I love the look on Big Ben's face when he's touching the piano and he has a serene sentimentality and then he hits that key that's out of tune and doesn't work. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh.
Yeah. Right
fuck.
away, he's like, what the fuck's going on? Right? He's like, okay, who's playing the sick joke? Because, I've told you multiple times I'm out.
You're in.
So they answer the phone, blah, blah, blah. They end up seeing the guy who they lost 2 years ago, the mole.
The mole.
And
He mentions like how he wants to. You guys want to get out? No. Well, first he says you guys never came to look for me,
yeah,
right? And
blames them.
that seems kind of fucked, right? Like you're just like, oh, that is pretty shitty. Like it almost seems like they're not explaining the full story of what happened to the mole.
Which is true. 'Cause it feels like that, especially when you find out like who Pap is later. And Susie, I think that she and him are very closely linked. with
Right,
the way
because
that
she
demised.
is very, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but she is very comforting to him.
She
like-
tries to be.
Well,
Right,
that's what I'm
right.
saying. Yeah, she tries to be very comforting to him.
So this character is kind of like, so in the anti-Inferno, which is what starts everything, there are those who are never choosing between good and evil. And that includes like Nephilim or angels that never chose in the battle between good and evil. And they're just doomed to wander. So this character, you never establish if he's good or evil at the start. So he's effectively
He's essentially like he's in purgatory.
not the terms that they would use, but yes, from our modern use. of
Right.
it, yeah.
Okay.
And so what you can call like limbo in the story, there's also those who are, were of good people who didn't like have the love of Christ, but that would be in Purgatorio, which would be after this.
Okay.
So this is pretty clearly specifically the anti-Inferno. So you're right, but the language that you're using.
It would be more limbo.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they go lower into one level. I think it's kind of weird. When the dude falls, it's a really cool effect when he falls from over them in the tunnel. But it's so hard to imagine why they're going down this way. Like for him, the mole guy says the only way out
The
is
only
down,
way out is down.
which is true in the circles of hell. But the fact that you would follow some guy who's been missing for 2 years, who appears out of
Yeah.
nowhere when you're running away from one cop,
Not only
It's
that,
a
but
lot.
he has like superhuman speed.
Exactly.
You're
He-
like, what the
fluttering, yeah.
fuck? He was right in front of me, and now he's like
he's
30
got
feet
the-
away.
But he's got like the Michael Myers walk where it's like
The slasher.
he's
yeah.
walking and he's just like, whoop, I'm way over there.
But this is something that I would appreciate. I understand the budget would be harder, but I kind of wish that the whole scene with the cop was more like the Warriors, where you see a bunch of cops creeping into the area and then they kind of strike. Because if it's more than one cop, it makes sense that these people would all run and be desperate to
Right.
get
If
away.
it's one cop, they might just like turn against him and be like, fuck you, pig.
Yeah, they can overpower
Yeah.
him. What's
Yeah.
pig in France? You don't know?
Lay
The-
pig.
Mhm.
Le pig? I'm gonna Google it. You guys continue with the story. Pig.
What happens then?
in
They go
Right.
down the freaking well tunnel
Pork.
hole.
Oh, or the female version is Trui. Tui.
The group.
Twee?
Paw.
Did you say tree?
Tui.
Tweet. Tweet.
Paw. Tui. Paw.
Oh yeah, okay. So
Tui.
the mole leads them
Yeah.
down into the tunnel where there's water, right? And they're walking over the water. Somebody drops something into the water. As soon as like the water makes a rippling effect, like all of the sounds distorted.
Yes.
And it's to the point where like none of them can hear each other, and it becomes very fucking loud to the point where it almost sounds like a siren is going off.
Yeah. So the second level of the hell is lust, and lust is described as a raging storm. So the way I took it was there's water underneath them, and there's this rumbling sound, which you combine them, and effectively you have the equivalency of a storm in a modern underground scenario.
Well, one of the writings on the wall, if they read, says like when the horn sounds, the dead will rise. And it sounded
shit.
really loud like a horn.
That's
and as
true.
soon as after that happens, you see the dead boy in that exact moment for like it's like a 2-frame shot
Yep.
of a dead kid. So I was like, okay, like now the dead is now active and out.
Right, absolutely.
Game on, motherfucker.
So at the end of their at the end of the path, they come across a dead end. But from there, George and Scarlett seem to, and at this point in the movie, it seems like they coincidentally find things. They're like, oh, but here's an Egyptian carving.
Yeah.
And
That I know everything about.
Yeah, and I happen to know that this means this and this and this, and you're like, oh,
They Indiana
God.
Jones it.
Right,
Exactly.
Every time.
The incidental hero.
Here, this
It's-
means this and this.
Kind of reminiscent of Goonies too, right?
Which
Yeah.
is why Monster Squad is better. Suck a dick.
Every fucking week.
Every time. We haven't even covered it.
I don't know if we ever can. We might have to get some better.
It'll be like
co-hosts
5 hours. It would be a 5 hour long episode.
and- I probably would. It would be like a doctoral dissertation. So we move on.
So
They get to the stupid puzzle. They figure it out.
right.
and
So
they
it's that's where the stones are, right?
Right.
And they figure out, okay, well, this is a puzzle because I know everything because of Wikipedia. And I happen to know that, okay, this is how many planets are within the solar system at this time. And then George is like, well, actually, is it BC or whatever? And she's like, well, technically it's this. Okay, but in this time period, they don't consider Earth part of the planetary system. So it's actually 7. So 7 stones down, or is it 7 stones up? They don't know. Neither do I. I'm guessing it's 7 stones up, but apparently I would have been fucking dead because they chose 7 stones down, and that was the one that worked. They pull the stone. All of a sudden, an opening appears. They're like, "Fuck, that's cool. Let's go check it out." First one down. Anybody? Guess who's the first one down? Lara fucking Croft. Yeah, she's like, "Fuck you guys. I'm going first because this is my expedition."
I took this to be supposed to be the gluttony, the next circle of hell, because in that the effect is that it's raining down filth, and I took that to be the stones.
Okay, I can see that.
I kind of had to ham fist that because
Yeah. I mean, I felt like some of these levels that they're trying to associate with the different, I guess, levels or circles of hell, they're a little far fetched.
yeah, and there's no Cerberus, not even like a graffiti on the wall. It's kinda sad.
Right, exactly. So she goes headfirst down into the tunnel. She ends up, George, you need to check this out. They go down, they see like a fucking full Knight and Templar fucking like fully not decomposed like at all. And they're like, that's fucking weird.
Looks a little thin, but he's all there.
Why is that happening?
Do you know who it is?
I do not.
It's Nicholas Flamel. That's who it is.
Huh. Okay.
Because he did die even though he used the Philosopher's Stone, but he never degenerated. Which is why when you see the degenerated body, when they come out the other side, and
he's actually like full on fucking skeletal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping something would happen, but like
something spooky, right?
Because they kind of set it up that way, but nothing.
Isn't there a Knights Templar in one of the Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get that action going.
He looks just like that guy. It's when he has to choose the goblet or whatever.
So Lara Croft sees inscriptions on the wall, right? She basically says, okay, hey, the Philosopher's Stone's real. This is proof of it, right? From there, they see water, right? And everybody has their lights on, and she, again, because Wikipedia, she's like, everybody turn their lights off. Okay.
Yeah, well, there's like a saying on the wall, and it sounds a lot like the Green Lantern like motto. I even wrote like Green Lantern because I didn't even write what it was. I was like darkest day and brightest night or something.
Damn it, Chad. Now it's I want to know.
So everybody turns off their lights. From there, it's glowing in the water. And she's like, okay, well, we clearly got to go in this fucking water hole. They go down into, it's like, hip height. And she's like, there's a loose stone. They end up taking a bunch of stones out. And she's like, fuck it. It doesn't seem like it's a legit place to go swimming. I don't know that there's even an opening, but I gotta go. So she fucking goes headfirst, swims down into the water tunnel of doom, and she makes out the other side. What happens on the other side is there's a fucking bunch of treasure. It looks like it's from Disneyland.
Yes.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So it looks like Pirates of the Caribbean on the other side. She's like, oh, well, I know I'm not supposed to touch that because that's not the actual treasure.
Right. And there's a bunch of torches lit and everything.
I'm above that. So,
And this is your circle of greed.
Okay, that's true.
Well, this one makes sense. Yeah, totally. Because all the treasure is behind a gate that's like locked.
Right, exactly. So
did you like the kind of Indiana Jones style when she says, oh my God, it looks so ordinary when referring to the stone? Because it reminded me so much of the goblet or chalice or the Holy Grail,
right?
When it's like poppers,
yeah. That makes sense. So
they pull out the gate. There's a cave in. Susie gets bashed in the fucking brain, and so she uses this stone and she grates on it and she rubs it on the lady's arm, and she's fine. And rather than having a broken arm or anything like that,
so you say she gets bashed in the brain? No, she just gets.
She gets fucked up. Yeah, it's her arm.
You're doing a little foreshadowing because her arm gets fucked up, and then she heals it, and then she gets her brain bashed in.
And so that's the one time that it works, and it doesn't work later. But then it does kind of work later. So this is, I can see how this would be confusing to somebody, but this is why I wish that this was on a different level, like fraud. But it's on greed. So I wish that what she's doing and what they're doing.
What she's doing is fraud. Because it's a stone that's fake.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. Well, but that's the thing. Fraud happens so much later when it's Pap. That's one of the things that's confusing is you wish that they would save. I understand why for the pacing of the movie they would do it this way, but it doesn't really make sense to have her over here and them over there. Without her expressing any sense of greed, why she would be tricked. But that's, neither here nor there, I guess. This movie, in a lot of ways, gives off a very Event Horizon vibe where a lot of shit's happening and you think that there's like an overarching skeleton to it. But then when you think about it, there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of.
Yeah. So after the cave in, after she saves Susie and the Banshee, they go into another tunnel. From there, you see Scarlett and George, and she happens across a inscription that says abandon all hope, ye who enter.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right.
That should have been above my ex-girlfriend's headboard on her bed. You know what I'm saying? Take that, lady I haven't seen in 7 years.
Right. So everybody's like, what the fuck does that mean? And then he explains it. And he says, basically, that's what's inscribed on the gates of hell.
Which is awesome because Pap is like, are we dead?
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw this movie thinking, when they had that initial cave in, everybody died. And this is just their souls going through. But then, spoiler, through the movie you find out that they're not dead and it's their actual physical bodies. Blah blah. But I did like that kind of self-realization of like, shit is way too weird.
Right.
This can't be real life, so this has to be like some brain dream after I've died.
And this is where when they crawl through, when they end up coming into another room, it's the exact mirror of where they just were. And then that's when it has Papusa saying, "Are we dead?" And she's like, "No, we're fine." And then that's when
they swim underwater,
Susie
that's the river Styx,
sees Mole in this room. This is where Susie sees Mole.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he disappears and then he's like now in the corner.
All of a sudden,
you have to do the river Styx first, because
Really?
river Styx is wrath, and then when they get out, she sees Mole and she approaches him when he's sitting there, and she tries to comfort him, and this is where he does the double choke slam and then bashes her face to fuck on that stone.
Yeah.
So the only reason I bring it up is because that's the Styx is integral for the wrathful. So there you go.
I enjoyed this kill.
It's my slay of the game. I think that it's super brutal, and you can see that something's going to happen, but I think the way that it was fun, and also it lets your brain do a little bit of figuring things out, because everybody else kind of seems to be killed as a method of their own demise or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
And so with him going missing and them not looking for her, I took it, and I could be entirely wrong in my interpretation. She and Pap, maybe there was something where like a love triangle type situation,
and they
specifically
ended up
didn't
fucking him over.
Yeah. By not looking for him or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So this is her getting the revenge, just like Fireboy gets his revenge
That is
against
Mole
Pap.
getting his revenge on her.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which, at that point, he is just a device, so he is still like the limbo type character.
Right.
He's just operating for the circle of hell.
Yeah, so then that's when you find out that the stone doesn't work on dead people. Sorry about it, Papusa.
No, it doesn't work at all from this point on, because it's a fraud. It's
but I mean, they actually mention, she says it. She's like, well, I can't use it because she's already dead.
But then when she goes to use it on Big Ben, she can't use it either.
Right.
That's
but
my
she
point.
tries to use it and it still doesn't work, right?
Yeah. So at this point, she thinks that she has an explanation as to why, but then later on, it's not working. It's a fraud. That's why she puts it back and she becomes magic person.
Right. There's another part of the riddle where she said she had to put the stone back and reconcile or something?
Yeah. Repent, something like that. And
so right after this happens, they have to keep going, right? And then Scarlett sees the noose hanging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought that was
nod
really
to her
cool.
father.
Yep.
Which is cool that it's a consistent theme throughout and it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. This is way better executed than the noose in 1408. But never mind. Then we get to Brian's slay of the game with Benji.
Yes.
So they're going down yet another level in yet another tunnel, which is very similar.
Right.
And
Benji hears a baby cry.
Well, what's interesting is like the stationary cam, like you have no other real option. Right. So it's just so awkward, and it stands out in your mind because it's the only like steady cam scene, or not steady cam, like stationary shot in like the whole movie.
I feel like why this is my slay of the game is because there's been multiple instances as a kid where I've been in hairy situations where I've been hanging off the edge of roofs, or off the edge of a cliff, or stuff where I shouldn't be, and I'm like, oh shit, at any moment I can slip and fall and I'm fucking dead, or I'm hanging from a tree, or this or that. Just something that seems like you can be put into that situation, and that's where I feel like I'm like, oh shit, I'm way in over my head trying to rappel down this fucking well. And so it's just him with his arms like hanging over the edge, and I'm just like, no, that's me. I can totally see myself doing that.
You just reminded me that I actually had a nickname for him, and I wanted to call him Creed. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet.
Nope, nothing.
Ain't so far
nothing.
down.
I feel like there's a reason. I feel like there's a reason Creed died.
Yeah, and just like your character, he dies. And here's your great part. He is heresy because he falls in the form of a cruciform, which is not Jesus. And so
Interesting.
Scott Stapp, also not Jesus. There's a video of him getting blown in the same room as Kid Rock. Super weird. Look it up.
What is the quote?
Oh,
Wait,
I Googled it too. I couldn't find what
Did
the fuck
you?
you're talking
No, I'm
about.
still
Yeah.
Googling it.
So
In the brightest day and the blackest night?
but that's
the Green Lantern one, but she says something similar to that.
So heresy and violence are intertwined, and they breeze through both of them. So I just kind of want to give a quick clarification as to why. Violence Alighieri defines in 3 different formats. There's violence against God, violence against man, and violence against yourself. And so heresy and violence are intertwined, so they do both of them at the same time. I assume, I might be giving them extra credit to try and move this along, but that's what I see with Benji, especially with him falling in that crucifix form. Then you see Jonah crawls, and he sees his brother under the water, and he's like slapping it, and he's saying, "Oh, baby brother, come to life."
Yeah, it was a weird effect.
Do you think if you were in his situation, you would do the same thing?
No.
Like, I'm like, dude, why would your dead brother be there? Like, you're like, okay, I get it. It's like extra drama, but it's silly.
They
It's
kind of
hard
play
to-
off him having so much guilt that he loses his mind and tries to save him because he couldn't back then. But yeah, it was not that great.
It's hard in this kind of cinematography with found footage to articulate what he's going through, like to have that kind of delusional state, without some kind of blur effect or something to show that he's not in his right mind. But that's the thing that's effective in like Event Horizon, going all the way back to episode 0 of slashers. Get on it, motherfuckers. The point being, these people are acting outside of their right mind. Why do you do that? Because of this ethereal, incorporeal force.
Right.
But in this case, because it's just head cams, you can't really articulate that that's happening to them. So maybe some droopy eyes, some swishing of the head, or something to show he's out of sorts. But, you can't blame the guy. He's doing the best with what he had.
I think right after here is where Papusa sees his homeboy in the flaming car.
Yeah,
right?
well, first it's a golden light. It's very comforting. And then they
Right.
turn the corner, it's a
that's
car
true.
on fire with a guy inside of it. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
And what's the first thing out of his mouth? He's like, oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. And upon saying that, boom, it's sucked into the car and buried with his feet sticking up, which is exactly out of Alighieri's Inferno.
And I mean, it comes full circle, right? When it comes to why he has the burned palms.
Right.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's something that happened where he could have gotten a friend out, but he didn't.
Right. Visually, him getting sucked to the car was really cool. Kind of like floating on his heels.
The whole feet sticking out.
Yeah, but then when he gets sucked into the ground and the feet sticking out was just really lame. Even my wife laughed.
It could have been done better.
I feel like
to Alighieri's, because they do talk about the Inferno a couple times. If they would have done a better job of articulating the parallels, I think it could have been cool. Like even showing like an old drawing of it or an illustration to show how severe what we're talking about is. But you're right. Like the CGI kind of.
Even as played out as it is, I would have preferred a head sticking out, even like halfway. So that way, it's like his mouth's covered. So it's like he's dead. He can't breathe. But I don't know. Just the feet.
I think this is a reference for the sake of reference's sake. I don't think that because it's not a major character in the book or the novel or the poem, rather. It's a very minor person that he sees as he's passing through. So I think they just referenced it so that they could say, oh, look, that's the literary reference.
Yeah, I just think it would have been more effective if it was a slower, like dragging into the ground or something. Instead, it's like a Harry Potter warp, like something time travel, and then it's just like his feet sticking out, and you're like, it just ends up being comical.
Yeah, where his like bones are crunching.
It almost
right, but his feet are just like.
It almost seems like his feet should have been wiggling for like a little bit, and then it stops.
We should have did a green screen of you guys tickling his feet.
We still can.
You're welcome.
Anyway, so at this point, they find the black cloaked figure walking past the hallway.
Yep.
Guess what? It's the devil. It's not the fucking cover art for that brand new album. It's Satan. And
who cares? He does nothing.
It's a very different depiction than in the Inferno.
I'm sitting, I'm walking, I'm standing. That's it.
Well, I guess sitting, walking, standing are 3 different forms, much like the 3 heads of Satan in Alighieri's poem, and he flaps his wings to freeze them. Nothing cold in this.
Right.
Nothing intimidating in this at all.
Yep.
I see that fucking guy. You know what I do? I challenge him to a board game like Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventure.
You take off your shirt like me and just like walk up and fucking rubbing
I have to
both
apologize.
nips.
I said bogus adventure. It's bogus journey. I need to make it very serious. Chad and I were talking about our rampant anticipation of Bill and Ted 3, and it's a classic.
Gotta give him a wedgie.
If you don't like bogus adventure or bonus journey, I will say it again. You're wrong. I'm sorry. Bogus journey better than this movie.
Definitely.
Sorry, Brian. Brian's looking at us like I hate you both.
Whatever.
When's the last time you've watched it?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's worth
we gotta
rewatching.
rewatch it together in a group. Watching it alone, you won't laugh as much.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. When it comes to the 3 like worst betrayers in history, you have Judas, Brutus, and Cassius, and they're all completely encapsulated in ice. And there's some other people who have committed atrocities or whatnot, but those are the ones that Satan has reserved a special spot for. And it's an interesting amalgamation of Roman Catholic and history. I like it a lot. That's probably the thing I take away from Alighieri's work the most is the amalgamation of different types of religion and philosophy. And so in this, nothing happens to anybody. This is a very intense visual.
It's the Holy Trinity.
I wouldn't say that. I would say, the fact that there's 3, yeah, but the fact of who it is, you're taking,
that's true.
You're Judas obviously with Jesus, and then Brutus and Cassius obviously with Julius Caesar. So it is simply the act of betrayal. And so in this, Chad and I had talked about it pretty extensively. I wanted Lara Croft to be revealed as a betrayer, or Ben to be a betrayer. Like maybe he reveals, oh yeah, I was going to betray you all along, and I was going to take the gold when you came out. Like I had a plan with a gun or something like that.
Right.
Or this other dude. For everybody to get out scot-free, I get that it's a reversal of expectation, but it's also a monumental waste of intense imagery. And I can only conclude that the budget was gone by this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, George gets like stabbed in the neck.
No, he gets bitten in the neck.
Or bit in the neck, right.
By one of the faces in the wall,
Yeah.
which reminds me of Labyrinth.
Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely.
I love the hands in the labyrinth.
So,
one
of the really
helping hands
going down. Yeah, that's great.
One of the really kind of rare sentimental things that happens in the film is when they see the ghost or when they see Satan, they're hiding around the corner, and then George looks over, Big Ben looks over at Lara Croft, and he's like, psst.
Oh God, I hated this part.
Really?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. It seems like I wanted to know more about it because they referenced it a couple times. Anyways,
it reminds me of Budapest in what's it called in Avengers. Isn't that what it is, Budapest? You and I remember Budapest very differently.
Yeah.
Because like she's like, I broke up with you, dude. He's like, it's the best week of my life. So she's just being polite, which is like mine too.
So yeah, he basically says, what happened in Turkey was like the greatest week of my life. BTW.
But it does.
So I'm surprised like Satan didn't like hear them and just like fucking decapitate all of them when he says that.
That'd be super fun. I'd like that quite a bit. So we're moving on to the part where she does the first person shooter doom scene.
After he gets bit in the neck, she realizes the stone's not going to work for him, and she's like, "Oh, I better go back and get the real stone," because she figures out some riddle again.
Well, yeah, she tries to use the stone on him.
Right.
It doesn't work, and then she's like, "Oh my God, I understand everything that's fucking something that takes somebody their entire life."
Right. So
to
now
try and figure out.
Now they redo the doom scene from the movie where he's like running and shooting everyone, but she's just slapping and going.
Isn't that awesome?
Krav Maga.
Yeah. It is pretty funny because as she's like running, she like slaps one of the demon statues in the head and it just like falls over. And I was like, I don't know. I found a lot of the scary quote parts pretty funny in this movie.
Yeah.
But this does get you to my favorite practical effect in the film, which is the little trench of water that gets filled with blood and there's the hands coming out.
Yes.
Super simple, but it's really effective
and
visceral.
It drags her down, even though I feel like there should be more struggle than that. She literally just gets pulled in and then she comes crawling out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but you feel like they're also at the end of their movie and they're like, fuck, we can't have much more editing, so move it along.
So then she confronts her dad, who's hanging again, and you hear the voice, and she just hugs him, and she just says, I'm sorry.
And he disappears.
Right.
Well, but this is after. So
she puts the stone back.
Yeah. And she sees her reflection.
Blah, blah.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, fuck. Why am I so stupid? I should have figured it out a long time ago.
I think the only reason she falls in the blood is her face is red, so you could draw the direct comparison to the red stone that's fake, and her being the red, so that she is the true stone.
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. She just turns into I Dream a Genie and winks and everything goes away.
Effectively, yeah. She shows up and she's like, hey, Ben.
What's fucking crazy though is like I still like the shot of her climbing up the well, right? Because it shows like how much like strenuous like fucking labor she has to go through.
It was pretty cool. I did like that.
They don't just skip through everything. So they skip a few things here and there, but that was one of the things where I'm like, fuck, dude, I would have gone like 2 feet up and be like, you know what? I can't do it.
Yeah.
And so from there, Jonah admits that circumstances of his brother's death, where his brother's leg was caught, he was drowning, and Jonah got lost trying to find help. I don't know that that's something that you have to apologize for or atone for. This is just your brother died. if he had said like, oh, I was too afraid to go and admit that we had gone somewhere we weren't supposed to go and he died, something like that, I think that works a little bit better. And then you have the other dude who's also the father of a bastard, which is unfortunate, but kind of weird that it's that parallel.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as they say that, they jump down the hole, they find the manhole, they open it. One of the better practical effects in the movie where
they push
climbing out.
They push down the manhole and it pops back up. Right. I thought that was really cool.
And then they come out, and I think that this is an interesting scene. I would have really liked to kind of have it evolve more, where it's the three of them. It's like, how awkward is that? Like, what do you say to somebody who you literally just went through hell with, who you just met?
And you're like, hey, well, see you later. And he just leaves.
Yep.
And you're like, wait, no, come on. You guys all survived this. Let's all just hang out for a second, maybe group hug.
Right.
Instead, it's like, nah, see you later, dude. This is a 2-man group.
They're not even sure if this world is like real. And
Right.
They're just like, peace out.
No.
Right. And so I started to think, like, is that character supposed to be like their version of Virgil, but he doesn't know enough to be Virgil? And it just kind of it gets a little mucky and confused at this point. The parable really kind of falls apart. And so they group hug. He walks off. Laura and Jonah hug. And then cuts to an interview where she says that she wants the truth that she can't handle.
Right.
And then that's the
She
end of it.
can't handle the truth.
Exactly.
I like it. That's perfect.
So just so you know, at the start of Purgatory, there are the 7 terraces of Purgatory, which mimic the 7 deadly sins. So there could be a good sequel to that. And then there's the spheres of heaven, and Christ, God is defined.
Do you think they would continue with Lara Croft? Like, she's like, well, I mean, I made it through hell, but I want to continue on.
I'd like to say that. I think it'd be interesting.
That'd be kind of cool.
And-
Absolutely. It's a paranormal Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as aggressive as the 9 circles, but it has some very intense imagery when it comes to talking about sloth and those, vanity and whatnot. So Chad just left. I think I know the answer for you. Would you say that this is a classic, a trashic, or a tragic? And for those of you at home who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, classic is a good movie. Trashic is a good bad movie. And tragic is a bad movie.
Tragic. This is a classic.
Yeah, I could see why you'd say that. I am so close to
Are you
classic.
doing tragic?
I am.
Okay.
Just because it feels rushed. Like you have a good concept. This is, I think Chad even mentioned this. If this was a student film, this is an amazing student film.
Right.
But as it is a movie
I can
with
see
budget.
where you can cut some things and add extra to other parts. Like, for instance, with the whole Nicholas Flamel thing, I feel like they could have nixed it and been like, okay, well, let's add more effects to it or whatever.
Yeah, commit more or don't. I mean, it's kind of weird. And like, there's no zombie effect or anything. Like, he could have been an agent of the thing. He could have killed someone. Something could have happened.
I can see that.
The one that I really wanted, Chad and I were talking about it. So there's Minos, who's the character I told you about, who's like the hell St. Peter, right?
Okay.
I love that character because in the poem, it talks about how he's coiled on himself like a snake, and the ringlets that it makes are like the circles of hell.
Oh, wow.
And I would have really loved some kind of perhaps graffiti or something, or even like an old painting on a wall or something that maybe the people could see. And when you're seeing it at that camera angle, you can see the word of like sloth.
That would be cool. Absolutely.
Something to show where they're getting it. So you can kind of build that anticipation and have a stronger framework.
I can see that now. I could also agree with you what you had mentioned earlier, where I feel like some layers of hell are kind of murky. You don't exactly know which one they're going to or why. So yeah, I agree with you.
Chad, did you rate this as a classic, trashic, or tragic?
Tragic. Sorry, Brian.
Whoa.
Wow. Opposite end of the spectrum.
We have all 3 of us.
Oh, that's a first.
Yeah.
That's good though. I feel like there should be parody.
I don't think that it should beat Jaws.
Parody?
I don't think that it should beat Blood Diner, and I don't think that it should beat So I Married an Axe Murderer.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, just making sure that was
it's somewhere in the middle.
I guess I put it as like there was nothing super interesting to me, at least, that I would want to watch it again.
Rewatchability is very important to me.
I like it. I've seen it 3 times already, so I would watch it again. But
if you talk about Jaws and Blood Diner, I will watch those movies anytime somebody wants to watch it.
You know what's funny? You watched Blood Diner over the weekend?
Yep.
So did I.
Yep.
The same exact day.
Yeah, I always keep a copy of it on my laptop. And when I was in Colorado with no reception, I was like, well, everybody's asleep.
I still never seen it, but I also don't want to watch it alone because I feel like it's a It's one of those group movies as well.
Yes,
honestly,
very much.
we both watched it alone, and I feel like it can only be made better by a group. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I showed it to somebody and I was like, so what'd you think? And they're like, well, I can never not see it. I'm like, you're welcome.
never Nazi, like Nazi as in Little Jimmy Hitler, who's a character in the movie. Come on, guys, you got to catch up and watch every fucking movie so you can watch every episode. Do you guys have any closing remarks as we wind down this episode on As Above, So Below?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, so a high energy zinger of a closure for this episode. Please do us an esteemed favor. Go and like us, subscribe to us wherever you can. Reviews help, even if you say that I suck. Apparently, it helps some algorithm so that we're creating some kind of feedback that makes us get published more. I don't know. It's weird. Everything is the devil, and they're always trying to sell you something. We are not trying to sell you something, but if you'd like to go to Patreon, we have tiered systems that I think are more competitive than any other podcast that I've seen.
Yep.
Every single one from $1 to $20 has something very quantifiable that you get, whether it's early access, bonus episodes,
Or a butt fucking t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly. And so, and those t-shirts come, I get them custom made one at a time. So you can get whatever logo you want. You can get whatever design you want as part of that. But obviously that's the highest tier. So I have to make it worth your while. I say all that. If just you watching and listening is support, and we're grateful for that. But if you do want to do those things, it gives us more an excuse to hang out more, which we like, to watch more movies, which we like, and to give you more content, which we like. So that's pretty much it. Our Facebook is facebook.com/slasherspod. Our YouTube, youtube.com/c/slasherspodcast, because I couldn't get slasherspod for some reason.
Wow.
Slasherspod on Reddit, slasherspod on Twitter, slasherspod on Instagram, slasherspod at Gmail.
Spotify, fucking all of them.
Yeah, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Player FM.
Stitcher, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Radio Public.
You need it, we got it.
Podcast Go, Podbean.
What you need.
Overcast. I'm missing a couple, but yeah. And honestly, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you, and I've actually had this interaction before. I had somebody who's like, oh, I don't like horror, but my friend does. And I'm like, okay, what does your friend listen to? I will personally send you whatever link you want to get that to happen.
Yep.
And I have a verified new listener. Thanks, person whose name I don't remember.
Nice.
They've only started listening this week. Come on. So
Very good,
anyway,
very good.
Chad, why don't you give him that last action line, buddy?
Enjoy killing time. Until next week.
Brian.
Oh, it's me now? If you ain't watching him dying, you ain't really trying.
Oh, it's me now? For Brian, for Chad, for myself.
For
Jake.
fuckboy.
You're a fuckboy. Not me, fuckboy. You fuckboy.
Oh, children, finish.
You fuckboy too. I fuck man. Oh, no, that sounds wrong. Anyway,
Does it though?
it sounds wrong, but it feels right. That's all I'm saying. Russian bathhouses, my friend. That's where all your Patreon money's going. So for all these goons, for our friends, for our family who tolerates us, I just want to say, go out there and do something you love. And remember that all work and no power play makes Jack a dull boy.